It's the beginning of another week. Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Manisha Bata Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, two top former executives of the National Service Authority charged with multiple offenses, including stealing, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. We'll dig into the details shortly. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. Also, still in the law courts, we have an update for you in the ongoing trial of Professor Christopher Ameyawe-Kumfi and Solomon Asamoah in connection with the infamous SkyTrain project that never was. Stay with us. We'll sink our teeth into this matter tonight in a rather tragic development in the Ketekrachi, that's in the Oti region, where over 10 people lost their lives in a boat accident. We engaged the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority on safety matters and more. It's exclusive tonight. Stay with us on the latest tragedy on the Volta Lake. We have this, including the latest Moody's rating on Ghana's economy. What does that CAAA 1 mean for our economic progress and the path of development that this particular administration is charting? You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Brace.
The Office of the Attorney General has brought charges against two former senior officials of the National Service Authority, NSA, in connection with a major corruption scandal involving the alleged misappropriation of approximately 653 million Ghana cedis. In separate court filings at the High Court in Accra, the state accuses former Executive Director Osei Asibe Entry and former Deputy Executive Director Gifty Owari Mensah of masterminding two separate schemes. These schemes reportedly involve the diversion of public funds through the creation of ghost service personnel and the acquisition of fraudulent bank loans. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has disclosed that he knows the members of Parliament who voted to elect him as Speaker of the 8th Parliament. He has dismissed claims that former Dome Kwabena MP Adwa Safo secretly voted in his favor, stating that those allegations are false.
That was a false accusation, and she suffered the consequences. She voted for the position of her party, not for me. I'm using this opportunity to dispel that decision because it's still hanging around and people are still using it against her. Because I know those who voted for me. I've been in this system for long. And I know the business of politics.
President John Dramani Mahama has called on countries that share common values and interests to unite in the face of global trade challenges. His comments come after Ghana was hit with a 15% tariff on its export to the United States following a new trade order. In a bilateral meeting with Premier of the State Council of China Li Qiang during his state visit to the People's Republic of China, President Mahama reiterated his concerns about the U.S. trade policies.
My own country, Ghana, has not been spared. We've been slapped with 15% tariffs, but I'm sure that is far less than China has been slapped with. And so it's creating a lot of confusion and unpredictability in the whole world. But this is a time that countries that have shared values must stand together. And Ghana and China have had shared values. We have voted in international organizations on the same side. And so as the world becomes more unpredictable, there's a time that countries like Ghana and China and other willing partners that believe in multilateralism should stand even closer together.
Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando has appealed to the Ghana Health Service to show leniency toward the nurse who was queried for her viral criticism of him. He stressed that while public servants must act responsibly, freedom of speech and the right to protest remain core values of President Mahama's administration.
I have absolutely nothing against anybody who demonstrates. But of course, as I stated earlier on, let us do that responsibly. And so I'll urge the Director General of the Ghana Health Service to temper justice with mercy. This is not to encourage anybody to act irresponsibly.
The Chamber of Agribusiness says Ghana could nearly quadruple its revenue from cocoa if it halts the export of raw beans and invests in local processing. The call follows remarks by Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, who reaffirmed the government's commitment to transitioning from raw cocoa exports to building a value-added cocoa economy that empowers farmers and create jobs. Anthony Morrison, CEO of Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, had this to say about the cocoa revenue.
Exporting value-added products to the global market will triple our export earnings, or maybe in 4 terms. But one of the key challenges we want the government to deliberately solve is access to raw materials to indigenous companies who in the value addition sector of the cocoa area.
Small news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. We're also on 3 News on YouTube. So you can share your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions with us. Read out to you and to the rest of the world. The big issue we've been following quite a while now, over the last at least 5 hours. It's coming up next on Ghana Tonight. 2 top former executives of the National Service Authority have been charged with multiple offenses, including stealing and causing financial loss to the state, money laundering as well. We'll dig into the matters tonight and the details as we have it here on Ghana Tonight. And as always, Ghana Tonight's probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insetsa Spray and Call Tum Preco. The Office of the Attorney General has brought charges against 2 former senior officials of the National Service Authority in connection with a major corruption scandal involving the alleged misappropriation of approximately 653 million Ghana cedis. Now, in separate court filings at the Accra High Court in Accra, the state accuses the former executive director of the National Service Authority, Osea Sibeyenchi, and his deputy executive director, that's Gifty Oware Mensah, of masterminding 2 separate schemes. And the details of this scheme, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akretinga-Ayine, has detailed in previous press conferences that he has addressed. Now, these schemes reportedly involve the diversion of public funds through the creation of ghost service personnel and the acquisition of fraudulent bank loans. Let's recall exactly, some detail the Attorney General gave about this particular issue in previous press conferences that he addressed. Take a look.
In the National Service scandal, 8 suspects have been interrogated, and a good number of them have started singing. They've, they are cooperating with our no, they've started singing, literally. Yeah? So we will give you details of their songs at the appropriate time. In view of the fact that, so indeed, we now have evidence of payments that were made into the accounts of the top executives of the National Service by vendors, private vendors, and staff of the scheme. We also have evidence that in November 2024, and listen to this carefully, the CEO of the National Service Scheme and others paid a Ghanaian MP to kill the story in the media and to defend them. Now, this is a developing story, and more will come out very soon.
So that's the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akritinga-Ayine, in earlier press conferences. Now, he gives pointers of what has been happening over the period. My colleague, Dennis Pabai-Wadam Esquire, has been studying this court document as we have it here on Ghana Tonight exclusively, some detail that we've been combing through. It's good to have you, Esquire.
Yes.
Now, you hear Dr. Dominic, and let's start from the point that he ended. He gives an indication that there are some persons who have actually agreed to serve as prosecution witnesses.
Yes.
That's what he says. They've started singing some songs.
And in due course.
And in due course, we're going to know the lyrics of the song. So
it does appear we are here.
Do you see the lyrics of the song in some of what we're saying in this court document?
Not yet, because I understand what the Attorney General to be saying is that these are people who know what exactly has happened. So in due course, when the need arises for evidence to be led to prove these allegations that have been brought against these persons, we'd get to hear exactly what these people have. Mind you, the Attorney General started from a point where he talks about people approaching him and asking that they should be used as prosecution witnesses instead of being tried themselves. But of course, when this announcement was made, many were asking questions as to why it has taken so long before the Attorney General put these people before court, because he himself had indicated as part of this statement, given a timeline as to when he was going to do that. But the legal vacation came into the picture. Yeah. We understand that was the reason for which this could not be done. But now here it is. Officially, the charge sheet is out. They are yet to be put before the courts. We understand somewhere within this week that will be done, where the persons named here will now properly be put before the courts for their plea to be taken.
Right.
But it's important for us to know which offenses or which crimes they are alleged to have committed, for which reason we are here. Now, generally, there are around offenses of causing financial loss to the states, around stealing, and also matters of money laundering, and also, issues of that misappropriation. But what is important to note in this particular one is that in other instances, you would have seen that because all the persons are being held before the court on the same or similar set of facts, you would find them that they'll put them on one charge sheet. Right. But what we see here, they are separate charge sheets. What it means is that they are going to try them separately.
I see.
Yeah, so these are the counts that you see in respect of the former executive director himself,
That's it.
Ose Asibenchi.
How many charges have been slapped on him?
So in his case, there are...
Could we go through it all?
Yes. So there are 14 in his case. And like I said, the general sum of it is because some of them appear repetitive because of the way we do a charge sheet.
For the benefit of the public.
For the benefit of the public.
Some education.
So each instance of an act will constitute a count. So if somebody were to steal, say, 5 cedis today and steal 5 cedis tomorrow and 10 cedis the day after, when you're doing the charge sheet, you charge them as having committed an offense today, tomorrow, and the day after.
Instead of consolidating
it. You can't just say that the person stole 20 cedis. No. You say the person stole 10 cedis on this day, stole 5 cedis on this day. So that will constitute different counts. That's how come you see that you have, for instance, causing financial loss to the Republic. Then the next one also talks about causing financial loss to the Republic. Yes, these are offenses of causing financial loss to the Republic, but on separate incidents.
Right.
Now let's look at the former deputy. In her case, it also has to do with offenses around that area, except that in her case, as you would see, and very typical of every charge sheet, you would see the brief facts attached.
Right.
For some reason, we don't see the brief facts attached to the former executive director himself. Else, we would have known the story behind all that they are being charged for. But in the deputy, we will see that pretty shortly. So her offenses are along the lines of stealing as well, like I mentioned earlier, willful causing financial loss to the Republic. The same thing repeated here. Using public office for profit, contrary to, then they give the provision. Then money laundering is also in here. And in her case, there are 5. Now let's look at what the brief facts say. So this is just a summary of all that the Attorney General says is the reason for which they are preferring these charges against her.
And you say that in the case of the former Director General, we didn't have that?
No.
And it's based on the court documents we have?
Not yet.
Okay.
But it will be unusual that they will go to court and that's...
Without it?
Yes, because it's part of the procedure that after their plea is taken, the brief facts will be read to the accused persons and, of course, to the court. So we just try to animate the brief facts in the case of the deputy or the former deputy, just so we appreciate what is happening. Now, this person is accused because she played a role when she was the former deputy executive director of the National Service. This agency, we know, is responsible for deploying graduates to do their national service. Now, there's a case made about a platform that they call the marketplace platform. What is this platform and how does it play a role here? Now, this was a platform that was created just so it will ease the financial burdens on national service personnel and allowing them to apply for loans and to purchase products on hire purchase.
I see.
And this was done through vendors. These vendors had to be registered. So they were only allowed to do the hire purchase from people who were registered to offer that service. Now, what happened? Each time you buy from these vendors, the money is deducted as a national service person, of course. The money is deducted directly from your service allowance. So it means that there's guarantee of payment for you once you're a vendor.
So that's 699 cedis. But if you go and buy anything from any of these vendors on hire purchase, by the time you receive your money, some amount would have been taken.
Yes.
Because they will spread it over a period.
Exactly. And that money will go to the vendors.
Right.
But these vendors are registered vendors.
Interesting.
Now, what role did the accused person play in all of this? Now we are told that in her capacity as the deputy executive director then, she was in charge or had the oversight of finance, audits, and procurement departments and was solely responsible for approving merchants and vendors. So all those people who offered such services as vendors, she had to approve that on the marketplace platform.
Right.
What happened? There were investigations into that to see if there was any wrongdoing. So in February 2025, NIB launched an investigation into allegations of ghost names. And these ghost names, we know where it's coming from. The Fourth Estate did an investigation which unearthed that there were issues relating to some people who were being paid monies and they do not really exist. Some people who do not even qualify to be in the scheme. Yes, yet they were there. So that opened up a can of worms. There were also allegations of stealing, corruption, money laundering, and all. Remember, we're told that NIB invited her, she was granted bail and interrogated as well. Now, the findings. They said that the investigations revealed that between 2022 and March 2024, the accused allegedly informed officials of the Agricultural Development Bank that her private company, Blocks of Life, BLC, had an agreement with the NSA to sell products on hire purchase to service personnel, and this led to what the Attorney General says was an act of corruption and financial impropriety, because she would go, as the Attorney General says in the brief facts, and procure a loan from ADB using names of persons who she had said were on the national service scheme, but it would later, as they found out, were ghost names to procure that loan.
I see.
In fact, the loan she wanted was about 78 million Ghana cedis. The bank said they could not do so. Else, if they were going to do so, it meant that they were going to be deducting all the allowances that were due the persons who were presented. So they gave her something around 31.6 million. And that is the amount, part of which is being charged with these offenses.
So it is her company, it is on the strength and capacity of her company that she approached ADB. The company is what? Blocks
of Life. But mind you, Blocks of Life, being a vendor, she had a rule to approve who gets to be a vendor in there.
Right, I see. So is this the same Blocks of Life consult that her husband is alleged to have been what, one of the directors?
Yes. Now we are even told, as part of the brief fact, that there was another person who also played a role, who happens to be the mother's driver. So there's even more emerging in respect of who actually owns, or the ownership and the management of, yes, Blocks of Life. So, Alfred, that is what we are dealing with. And in the coming days, as we are taking information, they'll be put before the courts for their plea to be taken. And then the real deal begins there.
But it's also worth putting it out that with all what we have shown, the burden of proof is still on the Attorney General, as it were, is it not?
Precisely.
To prove this beyond reasonable doubt in court.
Yes. And the Attorney General has always maintained that if he does not have evidence, he will not go to court. So now that he is in court, the assumption is that he has evidence to prove all these allegations that he's bringing against these persons.
Beyond the press conferences and everything else that we've had. In fact, on Gift-Yawari Mensah, this is what the Attorney General said at one of the previous press conferences. He was giving updates on this case. And then as we'll get to a second part of it, because you raised another issue which the Attorney General captured in that earlier press conference. Take a look at this.
For instance, we have conclusively established that after collecting these funds, some of the suspects, such as Gezi, Nyako, and Othing, handed them over to suspect Osei Asibe Entry in cash, and on some occasions deposited the cash into his bank account. Osei Asibe was the chief executive, the director general of the National Service Authority. Some directors, such as Gift-Yawari Mensah, created and executed a meticulously detailed plan using NSP, National Service Personnel Allowances, as security to obtain a loan of 30,698,218 cedis, 69 pesos, from the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, at an interest rate of 23%. She achieved these results by using other people's information to register a company called Blocks of Life Consult without their knowledge or permission. Subsequently, she presented Blocks of Life Consult through a middleman in the person of Maxwell Akwesi Ofori-Mintah to an official of the Agricultural Development Bank, and listed her husband, Mr. Peter Mensah, a lawyer, to act as one of the directors or representative of the said company. She told ADB that the company specialized in supplying home appliances to national service personnel, and proposed that ADB finance the company to enable it to supply these items on hire purchase basis to the service personnel, with the NSA being responsible for handling the deductions and repayments.
So that's the Attorney General there, Dr. Dominic Ayine, giving details prior to this moment of now, with the details and the court documents that we have seen, and some of which Dennis touched on. The Attorney General had already put out some detail captured in the court documents on the scheme that he says was being run by the Deputy Director General. That's a former Deputy Director General of the Ghana National Service Authority, Gifty Owari Mensah. Now, let's go on to Zoom now. Donko Fuseni is the current Deputy Director General in charge of Finance and Administration at the National Service Authority. He's joining us right now. Mr. Fuseni, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Let's first of all establish this. This marketplace scheme that was created to afford national service persons that opportunity to buy items on high purchase. Is it still there, or the new leadership has done away with it?
Okay, so I can authoritatively tell you that with the new system in place, most of those things existed in the previous central management system portal. That is the system we use for the deployment of the personnel. It was the same system we use for all our marketplace. It's the same system we use for generating certificates and everything. And that particular system, after the forensic audit has been discarded, a new system has just been created. That is the current system being used for the registration now. So this particular system doesn't have that marketplace yet. And if even it will have, it will be a different form. It may not follow the same criteria that it used to follow.
I see. So if you say it doesn't have it yet, is it the case that it should necessarily include a function like this?
No, it is actually supposed to be a creation through the association, the mother association of the National Service Personnel, that is the NASPA.
Right.
They are actually the ones that create that particular marketplace to be a common place that they were supposed to handle. They were supposed to manage it themselves, just like they take their monthly dues and personnel dues that goes to them directly. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to be the ones managing this particular marketplace because it was their function. Because normally the deduction, when it comes to deduction, National Service Management doesn't actually try to take anything out of the personnel allowance. Only the mother union, that is the NASPA, the National Service Personnel Association, they are in charge of all those things. Their dues and their welfare deduction, all those things go to them directly. We don't try to meddle in it.
I see. I asked this question because then what you're saying is very different from what has then been, or what is the subject of investigation now and prosecution.
That was a clear case of abuse because National Management of National Service Authority cannot take money out of the National Service Personnel's allowance unless the personnel themselves, through their mother union, the NASPA Association, decide that, we want to enter into this particular purchase, high purchase, or we want to enter into this particular transaction. So we need the management to actually guarantee for us. That is the only way we can instruct maybe the controller the controller general to make the deduction because the mother union has agreed to this. But National Service Authority does not have the mandate or the authority to take any money, not even a peso, out of the service personnel's allowance without their consent.
I see. So do you have vendors, as we speak, vendors in the form of what existed that are providing a service of this nature, which is now a subject of investigation?
Yeah, so all those vendors existed on the old system. Yes, they were all there. Those who provide network, those who provide data, those who provide marketplace, those who provide mattresses, electronics, they were all captured on the previous marketplace vendor. So the personnel would just go there and then subscribe to this, and the deductions to be made. It was actually created to prevent personnel from going outside to enter into private high purchase agreements that could actually go to harass them. So this was actually created by the union to make it like a common place that they can actually regulate.
Well, I see, but then now that's been abused, as you indicated. It's been fraught. It's been fraught with the corruption, as has been alleged by the Attorney General.
Management had no business meddling in this at all.
So are you saying that has been done away with, and all the vendors have been laid off, or you've discontinued your engagement with all these vendors? You're going to have to do a new engagement with different set of vendors, or what?
So if you go to our new system, central management system portal now, you will see that marketplace does not exist now.
Right.
It is not there currently. What we are currently doing there is mainly getting the students to register, getting the student after registration, we'll get them to be deployed to all their bases. That is what we are focusing on now. Until NASPA comes to us and says, listen, this is what we want to be able to assist, because it's kind of it's like a welfare scheme for them, because their money is not in so much that they can use to purchase some of the electronic items and some of the mattresses and things that they need at a go. They use this particular means to actually get some of the things, but that is solely reserved for their control and their usage.
I see. And then is this function that is not on the system now? In fact, I've just checked. You're right. This marketplace thing is not there. But is it one that you're going to consider introducing in the future? And if so, in what form is it going to come?
That is why I'm explaining to you that myself, my Director General, and my Deputy Director General Operations, we don't have the mandate to create anything for them. Until the National Service Personnel Association comes to us and says, this is what we want, or maybe this is the form we want it now, we don't have the mandate to do anything concerning their allowances.
I see. No, but the ghost service personnel, I mean, it's interesting that we're having to deal with ghost names at the national level payroll. We're dealing with ghost national service personnel. Have you put any system, I mean, have you put any system in place to deal with this time around, that you're now having people wait, I mean, service personnel, prospective service personnel wait for so long because you said you're working on the system? Are you going to put your neck on the chopping board and say this is foolproof and we're not going to have any situation with ghost service personnel?
As far as the system is concerned, and as far as I've been able to, my directors of IT and the deployment directors have made me see, what they've demonstrated so far varies in large proportion to the previous one. This current system, one, does not even allow you to continue if you enter wrong data. So most of the challenges a lot of our prospective personnel are having now is because even the dates and some of them, the names on their Ghana card does not even tally with what is in the school. Just an omission of a middle name, the system can deny you continuation, unlike the previous one. If you enter, like some were using 0 years, even in the previous system, to enter as their name, as their date of birth, this current system prevents you from doing that. And the payment system and everything that we do at the Secretariat now goes through the gift miss as I speak to you now. So now there is a central control and auditing system even in all our expenses. And like my Director General said, this particular system will be subject to yearly audits. Though the system itself has a self-auditing trail, whatever you do on the system now, it leaves you up-to-date evidence of whatever you went into the system to do, whoever you are, wherever you are, and it even gives geolocation as to what you did, at what time, at which place. So if I was speaking to you right now on the system, it would have recorded every conversation you and I are having on this particular subject if we were using the system now. And aside that, the new system also has enhanced features that also prevents you that aside taking your live location, whilst it's taking your live location, it also maps out your geolocation. So if you are TV3 and you are registering, it captures you that you are in TV3 and try to tell you everything around TV3 for you to be able to even make your choice.
So you talk about the integrity of the system. How about the integrity of the people who are manning the system? Have you put
that is why we are subjecting ourselves to the yearly, the annual auditing or annual review of the system by all the agencies of auditing agencies, Auditor General, or even private agencies. We open it up every year, unlike the previous one. We open our system up every year for auditing, just to make sure, even if the system is foolproof, human beings don't try to compromise it.
I see. So, and before I let you go, there's a number of service personnel are watching right now. They want to find out what measures have been put in place by the management to ensure that NSS dues are not subjected to abuse again.
Oh, even today, most of the challenges we're having with the, like I described earlier on with our system, they would have to go to Ghana Publishing, go to pay 1,200 to do the gazetting and affidavit. It will take them like almost 3 weeks before they get it. Management, through our Director General, was able to plead with publishing. Ghana Publishers brought them to our headquarters. We brought the commissioners of oath there. Everything was done for them, even at a reduced rate of 700 cedis. And with that, they can even get their names gazetted within 7 days. Even tomorrow, we are also bringing the NIA there to be able to reconcile all the details that they've been able to get so that things can move faster for them. But like I said, the law prohibits National Service Management from laying a finger on the National Service personnel's allowance.
Okay.
Once it comes and we push it to them, we don't have any hand in how they use it. But if their mother union, the NASPA, rise and say, this is what we as a body wants to be taken from our money for, that one, we allow them to do it. Okay. Once they accept their executives to do that, and even that, not even a PESWA is supposed to come into our account.
I see. Well, and this is one that we're going to keep an eye on. We're monitoring you every step of the way, just so you know. But I thank you. I thank you.
I also plead with you to help us continue the advocacy that at least we may, the finance minister may hear our cry and maybe smile on us and increase the allowance for our brothers and sisters as well. That is something the management has been pushing for. We've been to Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and we are praying and hoping that there will be good tidings for us come this November.
It's something we support as well. Thank you. We have some national service persons in here, so thank you. Thank you for talking to us. Donko Fuseni is Deputy Director General, Finance and Administration at the National Service Authority there. Now let's stay a bit further with issues of court. Let me just remind you, we have an exclusive interview with Dr. Kamal Din Ali. He's a naval captain retired. He's the current Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority. Give an update on a rather unfortunate incident, that boat that capsized on the Volta Lake, leading to the death of almost over 10 people. Now, stay with us, because that's coming up in a bit. But coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, we have an update for you as well in the ongoing trial of Professor Christopher Mia Konfi and Solomon Asamoah in connection with the infamous SkyTrain project that never was. Dennis Paberiwadam Esquire is with me. He was in court earlier today. Lawyers for Professor Christopher Ameyakomfi, the former board chair of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, have withdrawn their services. Dennis, why? What's going on?
Well, so I mean, it's very normal for such things to happen. If there's a disagreement between counsel and then clients, I mean, counsel can withdraw their representation. So it's one of those things.
I see.
I say so because the letter that was written to the court, which was, it did not indicate what the reasons were, but Prof himself had indicated that there were some misunderstanding between them for which they are mediating. So, I mean, basically that's about it. So he now has to look for another lawyer or to engage services of other lawyers. So because of that, the proceedings for today could not carry on. And that basically was an application they had to stay proceedings. That's because they had earlier filed a motion seeking the Attorney General to disclose to them some documents. Some documents to the effect that they needed those documents to be able to help their case.
Right.
And as the law is, I mean, they're entitled to that if indeed that kind of document exists. The Attorney General opposed that. And the basis for the opposition is that the documents that they were asking for, they do not have that document. So there's no way they could give such a document. The court ruled against them. That is to say, the court dismissed that application for that disclosure. So they went on an appeal. So while on an appeal, they came back to the High Court to say, stay the proceedings, let's deal with the one at the Court of Appeal and come back. However, when they were there today to move that application, the second accused person, who is in the person of Prof, did not have his lawyer. So they had to adjourn the case just to allow him to get a lawyer so that on the next agenda date, they can have that business done.
I see. And I know that this is one that you're following quite closely, and we'll see. So it's incumbent on Christopher Ameyakomfi, Professor, to get a new lawyer, right? And then we'll see how things go.
That's it, sure.
Thank you. This is Ghana Tonight, but let's take focus just a bit away from the courts. This time around, coming up next, in a rather tragic development in Keta, that's Ketekrachi, I beg your pardon, Ketekrachi in the Oti region, where over 10 people lost their lives in a boat accident. We engaged the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority on safety matters. Now, this is where the concern comes to, and there are calls for maritime safety reforms following the Ketekrachi boat disaster, which claimed 15 lives, including 11 children. On Saturday, October 11, according to the Ghana Maritime Authority, the boat, which was reportedly overloaded, capsized while crossing a section of the Volta Lake. The victims included children aged between 2 and 14 years, along with 4 adults. 4 others survived the disaster. And these are the scenes you see there, quite a troubling development. Dr. Kamaldeen Ali, a retired naval captain, but is the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority. He's joining us right now. Dr. Kamaldeen, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Alfred, and good evening to all our listeners.
Quite a heartbreaking incident on the Volta Lake. And the unfortunate thing is, it is not the first time. So for the many who have been reading this, fundamental question is, what is the Maritime Authority doing to ensure that these tales of deaths on the Volta Lake is discontinued?
Yeah, thank you very much. It is indeed heartbreaking. And as an authority, our condolences goes to the whole, all the families that have lost their dear ones in this rather avoidable disaster. We share with them absolutely in their pain. And we also thank Her Excellency, the Vice President, that is leading a team to the disaster communities tomorrow, including the Honorable Minister of Transport, my own minister, Honorable Joseph Nipe. let's put things in context. Much as most of us on daily basis will use road transportation and do it seamlessly and many times in a day, we should understand that in many, many communities in our country, they could go for a whole 1 month, 2 months without using any form of road transportation. That is to say that using boats and water transportation, whether a formal or the artisanal type, is also their main way of commuting from one place to the other. So in that context, just as you have many boats or many cars on the road, that is how you have many boats on the road, on the water. We shouldn't be having accidents on land. When we have accidents on land, there are certain factors that account for that mostly. In the same way, when we have such incidents, there are certain factors that account for that. Generally, there are three causes of accidents on the water. One could be weather or change in the water dynamics. They could happen, for example, where there are currents or a sudden weather situation. The other could be obstacles in the waterways, for example, tree stumps that may be in the waterway. But the most common one is human error. Just as in the case of land transportation, the most common one is human error. Human error here could be by wrong navigation. It could be by overloading. It could be by failure to use life jackets. And it could also be because of the state of the boat. In the context of Ghana and in most of the areas of the water crossings, most of the incidents happen because of the fact that people are not using life jackets. The accident may happen because of poor navigation. It may happen because of the condition of the boat. But if people were having life jackets, then we will not record that many deaths that we have been recording. The Ghana Maritime Authority has been doing quite a lot. And since I came into office, a lot much more has been done. For example, one of the basic things we do is to go through all the communities and to do what we call load lines marking. Load lines marking means that for every boat, we'll indicate where the boat can take cargo or can take humans up to in terms of the load it can carry. What this literally means is that if you're a boat operator or even somebody who is getting into a boat and you realize that that mark has been crossed, it means that the boat is up to its capacity. So we do that very often.
I see.
So if you look
Dr.
at the
Madi,
current...
I wanted to, forgive me, just hold on to
Yes.
that thought. I'm going to have to go for a quick break when I'm back. Because if you do all of this, my next question is going to be why you still have boats being overloaded. If you
Yes.
have these checks in there.
Yes.
And overloading, as we've seen at least in the last 2 years, we tracked most of the accidents on the Volta Lake, on the Oti River, on the Bui River have all been as a result of overloading and then also inexperienced drivers. So I'm going to go for a quick break. When I'm back, you'll answer this question for me. Please stay with me.
Thank you.
We'll be back shortly
See
after
you
this
soon.
quick break. Great. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight, and we're going to put this on the screen right now. I want you to take a look at this. And this boat accidents between 2023 and 2025, which we cataloged and recalled, it paints a certain picture, and we're going to put that on the screen right now. In March 2023, specifically the 12th of March, here's what happened. 8 persons died after a boat capsized on the Oti River, and also was reported as a result of overloading. And then we look at March 18, 2023, again, 5 people died in a Volta Lake accident after a boat they were traveling in capsized at Azizakwe in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region, also as a result of overloading. Then we look at March 28, 2023, another boat accident occurred, 2 separate disasters, in fact, between March 28 and 31, all as a result of overloading. And then May 11, 2023, 9 school children from Fana died at an estuary, and we do recall this. This was in the Greater Accra region specifically, and quite unfortunate development. The children were returning home from school at Wiaboman, a community near Dansoman, and September 17, 2023, 2 fishing canoes capsized at the Ada estuary near Azizanya in the Ada East district. 19 fishermen were involved, 15 of whom were rescued, 2 bodies later retrieved. This was just in 2023. In fact, if you go into 2024, we counted quite a number. And then now we're dealing with this. And Dr. Kamal Din Ali is still with me on Zoom, the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority. Doc, I just decided to do this to put data to the point I was making earlier, that a number of these accidents on our rivers and lakes in this country has been as a result of overloading. So you talk about the measure you have put in place to check that. How is that addressing this problem?
Yes, so as I've explained, we have what we call low lines. So the low lines means that we'll mark the boat and show where the boat should not be loaded beyond. But you know, we have a culture of lack of adherence to safety measures generally in the country. I'm sure when you go on the road every day, you see cars that are highly overloaded, and those cars are moving just on our roads. That is much the same culture and behavior that you may find in some of these instances. The difference is that when a car is overloaded, the car will either break down or the car will stop to move. Unfortunately, in the case of a boat, the boat will sink. So the culture of overloading and the culture of lack of safety is something that is with us. But that is why we continue to do the education. We have detachments either from the Ghana Maritime Authority or from the Ghana Navy across most of the areas. Recently, since coming into office, a number of measures have also taken place. First of all, we are opening an office in Akosombo so that we can be very central and have the headquarters of the Inland Water Unit in Akosombo. You would have also seen in the news that we have deployed one of our boats called Matekole to Bando Toko, where we have opened an office also. Why Bando Toko? Because in that particular place, you have a weather situation where certain times you have a water currents meeting, and the water currents can cause accidents. It's an accident-prone area. That's why we have put a search and rescue boat there. That was done about 2 months ago. And also, we have actually donated quite a lot of life jackets to a number of communities also. We have conducted what is called a comprehensive mapping of most of the inland water crossing areas. Let me say that in Ghana, we have close to over 500 areas where people are crossing, in fact, up to 1,000 when it comes to the inland water areas. So what we are currently doing is that we are going to recruit a number of safety guards, and those safety guards will help enforce the law. So we almost have to create something like a water police in a way, because at the end of the day, we need to police. And if we need to police, it has to come at a cost. And unfortunately, if the people are not complying, the only thing we can do is to incur more costs by training safety guards and deploying them. Into the future, we are also looking at certification of boat operators. It is a difficult thing to do culturally, but we are looking at it. Much like everybody you must have a license to drive a car, we are looking at how we are going to put in place a certain certificate or a certain license for each boat operator to be able to be trained, certified, and then can have that license. So these are some of the measures that the Ministry of Transport and the Ghana Maritime Authority are putting in place over the last couple of months. And we hope that more will be done in the coming months, especially the safety guards. Currently, after mapping the coastal communities, the inland water crossing areas, we are going to recruit the safety guards, people who are from the community, but people that can also earn their respect, people that can work with the local community leaders so that they can help enforce the law. Enforcement of law is not an easy thing to do. Generally, people want to resist enforcement of law. So we hope that when we come to that point where we have the safety guards in place, people will listen to them, people will accept the safety directions that will be given to them.
It's a very important outline that you've given, which we are also going to track its implementation and the progress in terms of how it would contribute to reducing the accidents on our lakes and rivers in this country. Life jacket, very important. Thank you so much, Dr. Kamaldeen Ali, for spending some time with us. And we can only wish you all the best. Thank you for connecting with us. Dr. Kamaldeen Ali is the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority. Now, we have some of our colleagues who are going to these coastal communities to assess the situation. So we'll be reporting this every step of the way, especially access to life jackets. I want to say thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. But before we go, did you know that we have the Upper East Region Journalist of the Year as part of our family here at Media General? That's the man. You've seen him a few times on Ghana Tonight. Our Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyana was on Friday awarded as the Upper East Regional GJA Journalist of the Year. Castro, will celebrate you. I want to say thank you so much for all you do for us on Ghana Tonight and all the other platforms. On behalf of the management and indeed the leadership of the news team, I want to say thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you. Dennis Baberi-Wedam has just indicated that he has a lot an offer for you in celebrating you, so you can always reach him. But on behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight.